But all I can tell you is it's extremely beautiful. There's a lot of nature. The architecture is great. The landscape is great. The people are great. And the food is great. And this is where I'm at. Were you able to hear all of that? Occasionally, were you able to hear all of that? It shows that my internet connection is not stable.
We heard it, yes.
Okay. So interesting thing happened when I got here is that there is another retreat going on at the same time. And this is a retreat of another 50 people or 60 people. And so there's two retreats coinciding in the same vicinity, same place. And it's interesting trying to navigate all of that. So it's a good experience for all of us. And so this retreat that we're doing here is a lot about healing. As we know that our mind and our heart always needs healing. I don't even know if you all can hear me because somehow everyone's frozen on my screen.
We can hear you, I think. I can. But yeah, it's not a great connection.
Somehow all of you are frozen. But if you can hear me, great.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's been an incredible journey for all the attendees in the retreat because I didn't realize the culture of Italy is that people are just very gregarious. They're very people's person. They're very kind and loving in this part of Italy. And people are generally very grounded. Okay, thank you, John. And so I'm having a blast. I'm living in this place that used to belong to Machiavelli. For those of you who do not know Machiavelli, you can look him up. He's quite a popular guy. He's a historical figure, and a lot of cool things that he says. People quote even to this day. So this property that where the temple is at, and they have a retreat center, it used to belong to Machiavelli. So supposedly he was quite an influential guy. He had a lot of properties around here in Tuscany, and very historical place. But it's a beautiful little town where you can go to his house, and the retreat is being done in his former house, which is now a retreat center and a temple. So there's an interesting energy here, and there is a group of people that live here on the property who practice spiritual life and spiritual lifestyle. And, you know, big castles, old building, there's a lot of tunnels going to different parts of the forest. You don't even know where it's going. So it's a very interesting place, mystical place, old structures, brick. It's a building that made with stone slabs, big, massive stone slabs. So anyway, it's very interesting energy. For the last 2 days, day and a half, we have been really, really focusing on forgiveness. Is something that they picked as the topic, how to be free. And it is through the practice of forgiveness. Yes, they have room for more, Maggie. You're welcome. And then on Monday, you can travel with me to Netherlands. We can continue traveling Europe and doing retreats. So this this retreat of forgiveness is something I thought maybe I'll just share with you. I honestly haven't had time to think other than just traveling and realizing that when you travel, you don't really have control over everything. Although Virajraj made detailed plans, from Atlanta to Frankfurt uh, to Florence, but then the flight from Atlanta to Frankfurt didn't make it on time. So I didn't make the connecting flight. And then they had listed me on a flight that was going to be 12 hours later, which is going to be at 11:30 at midnight. And then it'll arrive around 1 a.m. And then next morning, the retreat begins. So then we got another ticket. And instead of flying to Florence, I flew into Bologna. Bologna is a very beautiful city also. It's a city, a lot of universities, people come from all over. Interesting place. So from Bologna to Florence, it was about an hour and 25 minutes drive. And now the retreat is in full swing. So in this art of forgiveness, we realized that there are so many layers and layers and layers to forgiveness. And eventually, if we are able to find all the layers in our lives, and we're able to forgive everyone in our lives, then we can actually experience freedom. So enlightenment and freedom in life cannot be experienced unless we actually forgive people. Because the emotions that we hold on to in life, it disables us from experiencing freedom and spiritual enlightenment. And when we study the Gita, we learn the very important principles of letting go. Letting go meaning things that are not yours. And you'll be surprised to know, we study in the wisdom text that the divine works in ways to free us from the emotions so that we can be free. But it is our resistance to let go of the emotions that is being pulled and extracted by the divine through its intervention in our lives, and we hold on to those emotions. As a result, we're not able to experience freedom. Sometimes people say, just let it go. It's very easy to say, just let it go and just move on. But the interesting part of that process, there's a divine mechanism that is at play. Because all these emotions that is restricting and disabling our experience of a pure spiritual entity, that energy of disabling it, it is us who are holding on to it. And it is God or divine who is always trying to remove all those emotions so it can enable you to experience your truth and your true beauty and your relationship with God. And it is explained that God is more eager to be with us than we are with God. The divine wants to be with us more than we want to be with the divine. And so, to understand how this whole principle of letting go is so simple yet so difficult, because we simply want to hold on to them and not let it go. And God forbid someone tries to relieve you of your emotions of anger and envy and madness and illusion. then we fight with them. How dare you take my illusion away from me? That illusion, envy, anger, those were my comfortable blankets that I used to cover myself in. And now you have taken it away. And this is why this process of forgiveness is very, very, very hard. Because it is someone that is helping us to see another perspective and another angle of who we are and what we are. And that is quite frightening. And we resist that. And we're offended by it. And we are hurt by it. And so therefore, this whole process of forgiveness is really to understand what is it that we're trying to forgive, who is it that we're trying to forgive, and how is it that we're trying to forgive. So this beautiful story of Maharaj Ambarish is a story that I would like to share with you. I'm in the closet, in one of the devotees' closets. So if you hear a lot of noises, and it's an old castle, and there's a lot of old doors, and people are just going in and out. So that please don't get disturbed. So this great king, Maharaj Ambarish, he lived in a time where about 5,000 years ago. This is documented in the Puranas. He was this incredible, pious, righteous king. He was so loving and compassionate. And everything and everyone in his kingdom were completely satisfied because the character that he embodied. It explains in the wisdom text that when Ambarish Maharaj ruled over the earth, then all the demigods, they were so happy with his humility, with his kindness, with his fairness, with his compassion, that the demigods would never miss to do their duties on time. Just because of his humility and compassion and just being ideal king, genuine well-wishers of all his citizens. It explains that the 6 seasons, they were always on time. They never came too early and they never came too late. Imagine the seasons are represented by deities that preside over the season. Spring has a deity, fall has a deity, rain has a deity, and they would all show up exactly on time. I don't know about nowadays, sometimes it's a little early, sometimes it's late, a little topsy-turvy, but in his time, they just wanted to make sure they showed him respect, so they would all show up on time. And so, one day in his kingdom, this great sage by the name of Durvasa, he was a powerful sage. He had so many mystical powers, and he would travel with 10,000 disciples. So he had a whole entourage, bigger than any celebrity posses that travel around with with their whole crew. Imagine traveling with 10,000 followers. So one day he shows up in the palace of Maharaj Ambarish, King Ambarish, and the king immediately bowed down and offered him his respects. And asked the sage, my dear Durvasa, I will immediately get a meal ready for all 10,000 of your disciples and yourself. Please, if you would like, You can go to the Yamuna River, take a nice bath, because that's what sages do. They take bath before they eat. Because eating is a very sacred act. It is considered almost like worship, because food is the personification of divine. And so when we honor food, we have to do it in a clean state of mind, in our body, and everything we do has to be very clean. So Ambarish Maharaj requested him to please, we're going to feed, the meal will be ready, you go take a bath. So he went to take a bath along with his disciples. When he came back from taking his bath, he, through his mystical powers, he was able to detect that King Ambarish ate before him, which in this culture, you're not supposed to eat before your host. But he did. What did he eat? He actually drank 3 sips of water. The reason he drank 3 sips of water is because the day before was Ekadasi. He did a complete fast. And at a certain time, you're supposed to break your fast. But at the same time, you should not eat before your guest. So he was in a dilemma, what to do, what to do. Because of this dilemma, he asked his consultants, his Brahmins, who are considered to be the knower of the Vedic codes of conduct, his advisors. So he asked them what to do in this situation. I'm supposed to break my fast and I'm supposed to eat now. But if I eat now, then I'm disrespecting my guests. So my dear Brahmanas, my dear advisors, please tell me what I should do. And his Brahmanas advisors advised him that if you just drink 3 sips of water, that is almost like breaking fast, but not breaking fast. So that is the advice they gave him. And he happily agreed. So he drank 3 sips of water. But Durvasa knew through his mystical powers that this king had put something in his mouth before the host. So he came into the kingdom very, very angry. He says, "Oh, my dear king, you have no etiquette. How dare you do this? I am Durvasa, the great sage, incarnation of Lord Shiva, and you have offended me." So, when the sages get angry, when they get upset, their responsibility is to teach people how to live properly. But he was overly upset about something quite small. So what he did is he invoked, through his mystical powers, a very powerful demon, fiery demon. So this evil spirit appeared, fiery evil spirit appeared in front of him, and he ordered the spirit to go and destroy King Ambarish for breaking this. Imagine, such a simple rule he broke in his eyes. And Ambarish Maharaj, the great king, because he was a genuine, loving, compassionate devotee of God, so he accepted the chastisement and the punishment by folding his hands, and he prayed to the Lord, "My dear Lord, may your wish, may your will be done. And I completely surrender. Whatever is your desire." And immediately at that time, as this demon was coming close to him, Vishnu, who is the presiding deity of maintenance in the world, he wasn't having it. He's like, how dare this sage, for such a small thing, want to destroy this great king? So he sent his Sudarshan Chakra. Sudarshan Chakra is an energy, a spiritual energy disk that goes around destroying and can kill anyone and everyone. And Vishnu holds it in his index finger. It's a powerful weapon. It is beyond material time. So the Sudarshan Chakra came and destroyed that fiery demon of the sage. And then the Sudarshan Chakra started to chase the sage. And the sage was freaked out. He's like, oh my God, I am in trouble. My powers have been vanquished, and now this Sudarshan Chakra is chasing me. He had mystical powers, keep in mind. So he was traveling at the speed of the mind all over the world looking for shelter. He didn't know what he did, but he noticed that it was because he said something to Ambarish Maharaj, this great king. So he was looking, for someone to rescue him. So the first person that he went to was this great Brahma, who was the creator, who is the creator of the universe. He's got beautiful foreheads, a lot of brains to create all these universes. So he approached Brahma. He says, Brahma, I'm sorry that I offended this king, this saintly king. Can you please use your powers to stop the Sudarshan Chakra? And Brahma explained to Durvasa, the sage, how can I do this? That's beyond my powers. That's above my pay grade. I can't revoke the power of Sudarshan Chakra. So then Durvasa Muni, he took off, and Sudarshan Chakra keeps following him. And he goes to the abode of Shiva. And Shiva is living in the Mount of Kailash. He's meditating, and he appeals to Shiva, my dear Shiva, please forgive me, help me deal with the situation. Sudarshan Chakra is chasing me and is about to destroy me and is about to kill me. So Lord Shiva explains. He says, look, this is Sudarshan Chakra. This is the disc of Vishnu. And you have offended a Vaishnava who is a great saintly king, a pious, religious, righteous king. You have offended him. So the best person to forgive you is to go to Vishnu. So Durvasa sage takes off and starts flying and appears in Vaikuntha into the kingdom of Vishnu. Vaikuntha is in the spiritual world. So he enters Vishnu's abode and appeals to Vishnu, please help me, save me, forgive me. I have done something wrong. And, I tried to hurt this king, Ambarish. And Vishnu explains, hey, the Sudarshan Chakra is mine. That is true. But at the same time, the duty of the Sudarshan Chakra is to protect righteousness, to protect dharma, to protect morality, to protect ethics. And you have done something wrong. So, because you have done something wrong, you have to correct that. And the best place and the only place where you can correct this offense that you have made is to that great saintly king. I cannot forgive you. So you have to go where it all started. And so he came back and he bows with humility to the great saintly king. And the saintly king, with folded hands, begs the Sudarshan Chakra. O powerful Sudarshan Chakra, please forgive this sage and please go back to your source. And I forgive this great sage. As soon as this great sage was forgiven, then the Sudarshan Chakra went back to Vaikuntha to be with Vishnu. So why am I telling you this story? Because it's a very important story to keep in mind. That in forgiveness, when we do something wrong, first of all, we have to find out who is the person that we have hurt. And forgiveness is a two-way street. First, we have to learn to forgive ourselves and also forgive others. So we have to know who is this person that has taken offense? And then approach that person with humility, acknowledgement of the mistake, the gravity of the mistake, and be sincere to accept any punishment that is given. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a great wisdom text that we all study, you all can get one, it's 12 volumes. There are many, many, many beautiful such stories of forgiveness. At least a dozen stories of forgiveness. Why is that? It's because without forgiveness, without understanding how to forgive, without actually going through the process of forgiveness, we're not going to be the recipient of divine love. We have to let go in order to receive this divine love. And that is the big essence of this forgiveness, that we must figure out all the people that we have hurt and take the time, make sure there is proper time, place, and circumstances. With the right, proper attitude, we approach them and we beg for forgiveness and see what happens. Even if they don't forgive you, the fact that you made that effort will set you free. Because in forgiveness, of course, this is a detailed retreat with a lot of details. I'm just giving you a high level. We go through a process. There is a decisional step and there is an emotional step. Big two steps where we decide that I no longer want to hold this emotion. That this weight is a little too heavy on me. There has to be an acknowledgement of that. And then we actually consciously choose that I want to let go of this. So there is the conscious process. And then after you do that, the whole process, it's a whole emotional release that one has to give up. Because those were our comfort emotions that we held on to for so many, God knows how many years. So this is in essence what we have been discussing here. The art of forgiveness. It's morning session, afternoon, morning, afternoon, morning, afternoon. And beautiful, beautiful pastimes from the Srimad Bhagavatam, where we see, there is this great story of Draupadi, whose children, 5 children, were killed in their sleep. And she forgave the killer, the murderer of her children. While all the Pandavas, they wanted to finish him off. And even Krishna said to Draupadi, says, Draupadi, why are you having the sympathy for this guy? He is a murderer. He needs to be killed. But Draupadi still holds her ground and say, no, I do not want the mother of my murderer to experience the same emotion that I'm experiencing. Pretty crazy. It's really insane how people have gone to various different depths to really have this emotion of forgiveness. And there is also the great story of Kaliya, the serpent, that completely destroyed and created havoc by spreading poison all over Vrindavan. No one could even drink water because the water was polluted by the poison. And then Krishna went and he danced with Kaliya and danced on the hood of all the serpents non-stop for days on end. And finally, Kaliya's head was hurting. And all the wives of Kaliya, the serpent, had many serpent wives. They're called Nagapatni. And they all prayed to Krishna for forgiveness. Krishna, please forgive our husband. Because of his material infections, he was so overcome with lust and greed. He created all this problem for the residents of Vrindavan. And you see how Krishna forgave him. Indra, the great king of the heavens, he also terrorized the residents of Vrindavan by showering these torrential rains and flooding all of Vrindavan. So much so that Krishna had to lift this Govardhan hill on his pinky, on his left hand. He had to lift up this hill to give shelter. And then when Indra came to beg for forgiveness, Indra knew way better. He realized what a big boo-boo he is now. Said, oh no, this is too much. I have made a big boo-boo. How do I fix this? And he makes all the proper arrangements to be forgiven. What does he do? He approaches Krishna's cow. Krishna loves the cows. So he approaches this divine cow named Surabhi. And he knows that if Krishna sees Surabhi with him, he is good. He's good. You know how children do that sometimes with the parents? When the father is angry, the children pulls the mother to go meet the father and vice versa, so that when the chastisement comes, there is some buffer there. So Indra knew very well that Krishna loved this cow. So he took Surabhi with him and he appealed to Krishna to please forgive him because he didn't realize that he was infected with this disease of power and control and dominance. And Krishna accepted his appeal for forgiveness. So in this way, there are approximately a dozen stories in the Srimad Bhagavatam, story after story of offenses and redemption, offenses and redemption. And why is that? It's because we need forgiveness in our lives to experience this divine love in our heart, to experience enlightenment. And so this is what we are covering in this retreat, but in a very granular level, a lot of little nuances. And many such stories. There's over a dozen stories like this about, big mishaps and how to redeem oneself through this art of forgiveness. So, in essence, what I want to share with you is that we have to find people in our lives, emotions that we're holding from, for, or against, which are weighing like a heavy elephant in our hearts and minds. And we carry that weight throughout our lives every single day, wherever we go, every single moment. Once we are able to acknowledge that heavy weight in our lives and the mistakes that we have made, and it's humans, we are bound to make mistakes. It is normal to make mistakes. It explains that the most powerful ornament of a human being is when that human being is able to forgive. Unless and until a human being is able to forgive, in the Mahabharata it explains that he is not a human being. He is called a jantu. Jantu means an animal. What differentiates between an animal and a human being is this human being's nature and ability to forgive others. And also very important to forgive oneself, because we torture ourselves more than others. So we have to see how to work on this. And it is all possible by the practice of daily sadhana, where lenses of the heart becomes more and more clear, and we can see better in this world. And when we can see better, then we're able to acknowledge and go through this process of forgiveness. So life is a journey of forgiveness through which you can experience divine love. So this is our conclusion for today's discussion. Thank you all so much for joining us. I hope you are able to hear me, because the internet has been a little spotty, as they say. If there's any comments or anything you would like to share or any questions, please feel free to ask. Nild, you have your hands up. Please share with us.
Yes, thank you for this message. So there's a situation where myself and another both blame each other for a situation that happened years ago, and I think I put it to rest. I didn't want to drag it on, even though I knew that they were still blaming me for the situation. Would it make sense at this point to ask for their forgiveness, even though I believe they were probably at more fault than I was? And, they think I was at more fault. So, I mean, it's an equal throwing of the pies. Your thoughts?
Beautiful question, Nild. See, forgiveness is not an intellectual exercise, and it's not a mental exercise. You have to really genuinely feel it in your heart. The very fact that you feel they're equal contributor, if not more, means we have to dig a little bit more deep inside as to what is our contribution, and take responsibility for our contribution, because we don't know their side of the story. Even if we know, we don't really know the magnitude of it and the impact of it in their lives. So a saintly person, the fact that you're still holding on to it means it's weighing on you. Is then to accept our responsibility and to actually take a humble position and, yes, ask for forgiveness. And Krishna is teaching this. Vishnu is discussing with Durvasa. He says, my dear Durvasa, you have to go to the great king, and only he can forgive you. And on the other hand, the king didn't take any offense from this sage that wanted to kill him. Can you imagine someone trying to kill you and you're like, take no offense? Come on, if someone tried to kill me, I'd be like, yeah, this person really hates me, and I want to get back at him or something, because that's how the human mind is. Anytime we have anything happen to us, we want revenge. If we can't get revenge, we want justice. But here, this great king is showing, no. I did not take any offense, but guess who took offense? God up there takes offense. Why? Because we are divine expansions of God. Qualitatively saying, quantitatively different. So your father, obviously, if somebody does something to you, your father's going to be mad. This is my child. Why are you doing this? And so Vishnu tells Durvasa, hey man, go down there. Go to the great king, and he's a saintly king. You've done a boo-boo, and it's time for you to go there and beg for forgiveness. And what is the mood of Durvasa? O saintly king, O saintly sage, you have done nothing wrong. And whatever it is that you may have done wrong, please understand, I completely forgive you and I take no offense. In that Sudarshan, he's released from that curse. So when we hurt others, we're not just hurting that person, we're hurting the creator of that person. So we have to always acknowledge whatever little mistakes we do, that we are ready and humble to beg for forgiveness. Does that make any sense, Nils?
Yes. Yeah, and I guess I kind of knew the answer before I asked it, but it's nice to hear it being reinforced. So thank you.
Thank you, Nils. You know why you know the right answer? Because
The
God
divine knows the right answer.
Okay, anyone else wants to add anything or any other questions? Yes, Narayani Devi.
So through this life, I have seen that every time, and the stronger I want to point and blame someone else, if I just turn that finger around onto myself and say, what is my role in this? How am I participating in this? It seems like it's really just pointing to and showing where the work I need to do within me. It has nothing to do with the other person. They're just it seems like they're being sent to me to show me, girl, you still need to work on this, but where I'm struggling lately is in a situation where someone's always trying to one up me, or whenever we interact, it's like, it's never authentic and truly loving. It's very competitive. And so I'm trying to turn that arrow of discernment onto myself again and say, okay, what is my role here? Where do I need to do work? And I'm having trouble figuring that out.
Beautiful, beautiful analysis, Narayani Devi. It's also important to recognize that we may not even be at fault, and because someone takes offense, we can still apologize. For example, there is this beautiful story in Vrindavan. There was a sage by the name of Sanatan Goswami. He's one of the 6 saints of Vrindavan. He was sitting in meditation. And what was his meditation? He was seeing that Krishna was on a tree, standing on a branch, and lowering the branch for Radha in Vrindavan to pick the fruits and the flowers of the tree. And then as soon as Radha would try to pick the fruit, Krishna would take his feet off the branch and the flower and the fruits would jump up. And then again, she would try to pick the fruit. Krishna would lower the branch and she would try to pick the fruit. As soon as she tries to pick it, Krishna would take his feet off. And so this was going on in his meditation as he was sitting and meditating. And he was just enjoying this beautiful rasa, beautiful mellow that was the nectarian exchange that was happening between Radha and Krishna. So he started, but little did he know, as he was smiling, there was a sage who was walking in front on the street. And that sage happened to be a little crippled. So he was walking a little off and odd. When he saw Sanatana Goswami laughing, he thought, oh, he's laughing at my physical deformity. And because he took offense that this saint is laughing at my physical deformity, and his heart hurt. And immediately Sanatana Goswami's meditation just disappeared. He didn't do anything, but his meditation was gone. So what happened? Sanatana Goswami went and asked his brother, hey Rupa Goswami, hey Rupa, what happened to me? I'm not able to get into these meditative states anymore. And Rupa explained that, you must have done something, you must have offended someone in Vrindavan. Sanatana Goswami said, how do I know? I haven't done anything wrong. I'm so careful not to offend anyone, not to hurt anyone's feelings. So he recommended that you please go and meet all the sages in Vrindavan and approach each and everyone and just beg for forgiveness. So he unknowingly went door to door begging for forgiveness. Eventually he met that person who took offense. He also begged for forgiveness. And that person, as being a saintly person himself, he also immediately forgave. And then he was able to get back into his meditation. So there are these instances where you may do something wrong, but unknowingly. So therefore, in the tradition of yogis that we practice, we always beg for forgiveness, knowingly or unknowingly, that we may have committed. So we say, please forgive us for knowingly and unknowingly offending you. So imagine that. This is the depth. This is the depth of the culture of yogis, that they're very soft and kind and gentle, where they're able to lose their focus on meditation and immediately address it with utter humility. So thank you, Narayani. Devi, any other questions? I think we still have time. We have 1 more minute.
There's one in the chat. It says, "How," from Corey, "How do you forgive someone who continues to cause harm?"
Ooh, that's a good one, Corey. Thank you. Beautiful question. Forgiveness is, again, when someone genuinely forgives, genuinely approaches you for forgiveness, then they should be forgiven. And if they don't approach you for forgiveness and you forgive them, then you have to keep your distance from them so they don't make repeated offenses towards you. So it's a simple answer, but it's very deep, and I don't think, maybe I can call you, Corey, or you can call me and I can answer that for you. Or maybe we'll make a video about it. We'll shoot out a video and answer that question. So we'll give you exact points on how to deal with that situation. So thank you all so much, beautiful souls. Corey, my apologies for not giving you the full answer now. Will you forgive me for this? And later on, we'll give you a full answer.
Well, I can't forgive you if I don't blame you in the first place. So, we'll go with that. No, but this is a challenge for me because like I want the forgiveness for myself. And if I go through and do that, then like I can get myself in a situation where like the same thing happens and like my forgiveness didn't, like that's not, I need to do more. obviously. So yeah.
We will spend time because this is a long, beautiful course. I'm doing it for 3 days, and I'm just giving it to you in a little nutshell form in 45 minutes. So I definitely am not doing justice to this topic. So hopefully we can do justice to this topic. Thank you, Corey. Okay. Keshavi Devi, do you have any announcements?
I don't, but maybe people in Europe do.
Durga Devi, you have any announcements?
Yes, hi everyone. So here in the Netherlands, we are super excited because we have like a full week of programs with Vedaji. So if you are around in the Netherlands, please come. We have like really nice collaborations with other big cities in the Netherlands. And we're doing a really nice retreat in an old monastery. And yeah, we all can't wait. So if you are here, please come enjoy our spiritual party with Vedaji. You can look at the website dutchloverevolution.nl and there you find all info. And I hope
So
to
let's go and have love revolution in the Netherlands.
Yay, Jay, Haribo.
Haribol. And I would say that if you know anyone in Netherlands, you should send them the message and let them join us. Let us celebrate. Okay, anyone from Belgium has an announcement? And then we also have a retreat in Belgium. Anandini Devi, are you here? Okay. And then we also have a retreat in Belgium, in Radhadesh, which is another beautiful destination and a lot of fun. And then after that, we'll be in Bulgaria. And then we also have a retreat coming up in near Vrindavan in West Virginia. So please check out.
And
all
then
those
we have India.
And then we're all going to India.
Veda doesn't sleep. Veda doesn't sleep. He's just go, go, go.
So we come back, I get 1 day break. No, I get 2 day break after the retreat in West Virginia. And then we take off to India. So join us. Let's keep celebrating permanent, eternal party time. Spiritual party. So thank you all so much, beautiful souls. So nice to be with all of you every single Saturdays. And I was grateful that I was able to make it. And I look forward to seeing you all soon. Namaste, beautiful souls.
Namaste.
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 Namaste.